There he is. So, Aaron, I really appreciate you taking the time to be here and to do this. The whole world wants to know what is your experience. And before we get into that, let's give everybody a little background about who you are. You want to explain a little bit about who you are and what you do and how we got connected together?
Yeah, so I follow a lot of TPI golf fitness stuff. Found you on Instagram. You had the 6-week transformation, and I was very interested. I am from Tampa, Florida. I go to school at Temple University and play golf at Temple University. I lost 60, 70 pounds so far in the last 4 years, but have been kind of in a plateau and needed a kind of a second boost and to get remotivated, refocused. Pretty disciplined, pretty motivated myself, but just needed to get a new direction and just gain more knowledge about golf fitness. And big thing in my game is pretty much my technique's pretty good, but for me to take the next step is I guess you could say mental toughness and just mental games. So that's kind of my backstory through the process. It was a very big learning experience. I'm doing great now. The first part of it was very eye-opening. It reminded me a lot of how I made my changes in the first place, and got in a really good routine, morning, afternoon, pretty on top of things. Took a few steps back, and then just with your help got refocused and learned a lot. Just November and the 6 weeks, it was a nice high to low, back to high. So
Hey, Aaron, so I apologize. I think I lost you for just that last second there. I got up until you said November.
yeah, it was a nice high to low, back to high again, and it's a really good learning experience.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. What would you say has been the biggest takeaway you've had in these 6 weeks? What's the thing that you're going to carry with you in the momentum that you've been able to build?
I would say the vision and being able to take what you do in the morning, carry the mindset throughout the day, and then being able to not only communicate what you want to do and what your goals are to people around you. And then personally for me, it's about understanding that and always having the vision and the path and the attention to detail throughout the day, so that at night I can go to bed when I have to wake up early and kind of get started on my day. I find that if I plan at night and if I stay ahead of the schedule, if I stay ahead of just tasks in general, that stuff starts to pile up on each other, and good habits start to form. So
Now, one of the things you've mentioned a couple times is the word mindset. I'd love to know in your words, what does mindset mean, and what does it mean to you when you have a good mindset?
Clarity on knowing yourself, learning about yourself, because everybody has different friend groups. I would say also, taking a few steps back, I'm doing this in college. There's a wide range of ages that are in the group trying to learn from each other and help each other through it. And it was very interesting to break it down to learn more about yourself and honestly just kind of break it down so that you love yourself enough that you take care of what is on your mind and what you break down your priorities. The mindset is the clarity and, like I talked about before, the vision and the understanding that today I will get this done and have this mindset throughout the whole day. I visited home over Thanksgiving break and had a lot of breakthroughs. I'm using what I learned in the 6 weeks to help my teammates kind of go towards their goals, and just overall maturity and attention to detail. But yeah, the mindset's huge. It's personally probably the biggest variable on if I do it and stay up on everything.
That's awesome. I know one of the things that you and I have been talking about, especially early on, like you were touching on, is, early on we were talking about fitness and mobility and things like that. And then when we really dove into it, we started to find out that it was the mindset that was the barrier to get us into those places. And one of the biggest transformations that I've seen through your growth, and I think you'll agree with this, is what you were just saying about what you're doing with your team and coming from that leadership role. And I was hoping you could speak to that a little bit and what it feels like to be stepping into that role and what this next level for your personal development looks like.
Well, as I previously talked about, I got a taste of the discipline and the mindset coming out of high school when I lost all the weight in the beginning. And so I knew, I understood the process. I think that I'm a very good communicator. I like to learn more about people, hear their backstory, to make deeper relationships. That way it's just more real. And as far as being a leader, I'm very passionate. As far as the golf team, we struggled the first semester. A lot of guys were new. We were pretty much inexperienced. We lost 5 seniors going into this year. So it was kind of like everybody was feeling it out, and nobody really stepped up as a vocal leader. And we're all just trying to figure out how we fix it, because we are very, very, very talented. And I kind of just took it upon myself. It's like, you know what, not a lot of people know what I know, and not a lot of people can communicate like I can communicate. And to be honest, it's just like a lot of things just hit me in my life. And I mean, throughout your thing, you're talking about personal legend. I found that my personal legend is practicing what I preach. So yes, I can help people kind of I can teach people how to do it. And that's great. And I can hold people accountable. But as far as being the leader, I need to do that myself. And then when I'm older, ultimately I want to be a sports agent. And if I do this myself, I can learn more about it, be able to effectively communicate better, more ways, and I can understand the struggle, because not only am I saying it, I'm acting upon it.
And what does it feel like to you when you are diving into that personal legend? You're in the thick of things, you're doing the work, you're waking up, your mindset is strong and clear. How does that resonate throughout your day, and what impact does that have on your grades, on your game, on your team, on your relationships?
I would say that I'm just very in touch with my consciousness and myself. I've always kind of had, it's like everybody has positive, negative voices. And when you're constantly hitting the task and hitting the mindset and journaling and meditating, and it just starts building, it really starts to, I talked a lot about, I would say, honestly, the biggest thing throughout the whole 6 weeks personally is being able to slow everything down, and through meditation and through imagery, kind of like quiet the brain activity and quiet the brain waves to match your surroundings and get really in touch with yourself. And as I talked about, and I hinted upon it, but like for me, it's mental. And so I went down back to visit Florida Thanksgiving, not touched the club for 20 days. And the first 2 rounds, all I was trying to do was make contact and like really try to slow down everything, enjoy the scenery, get in that zone where you feel a part of your surroundings and you're really not thinking about mechanics. And that really, really helped me. It's becoming easier to get there as I do it more often. I took yoga at Temple 2 years ago and got introduced to the breathing and the meditating, and people that don't do it they don't, they're blocking themselves from a great source of knowing themselves and tapping into potential that is life-changing.
Well, that's really powerful, Aaron. I appreciate that. So if you were to, say, have a conversation with somebody who's on the fence about going through something like this, if they weren't sure what to expect, if they weren't sure about, the confidence in themselves to be successful and to be able to grow, what would you say to encourage them, to get them to go through this and to just kind of take matters into their own hands and be responsible and just take their life to a level that they never imagined? What would you say?
I would say that I'm 21.
Oh, hang on, Aaron. I'm so sorry. I just lost you. So you were just about to start. So let's try that one more time. I think we got the question in there, but if you were gonna, just in case, if you were to talk to somebody who was on the fence about starting a program like this, what would you say to encourage them?
I would say that I'm 21. I thought I knew everything at 18. I'm sure. Well, now I kind of understand that I don't know a single thing, but and I won't know. We never really know everything. No matter if you're 40, 50, 60, whatever, how old you are, you could always learn. I have a professor. I talked to him for an hour and a half, and he's been he's been an executive for minor league teams. He's won executive of the year. He's been a GM, and now he's a professor. He's coaching. He's he's doing podcasts. He's putting conventions together at age 50. He's running 5Ks. He's lost 30 pounds. It's like I connected with him and talked about this process. It's no matter how old you are, no matter how much you think you know, you can always learn more about yourself and just fulfill your life, because as far as I'm concerned, I live like this. As far as I'm concerned, until someone really proves it, you only have one shot at this. And I have a lot of gratitude in the sense that you could have been born in another part of the country with not anything. You could have been born with a disease, whatever it may be. We have one life at this, and the mindset and really trying to go after whatever you wanted to go after, it's very fulfilling. It's very powerful to slow things down and actually go after it.
Wow, that is amazing, Aaron. You are wise beyond your years. Now, I got to ask, you've built up this amazing momentum. You've learned how to shift your mindset in the right way. We have only a couple of weeks left here in 2019. 2020 is right around the corner. I don't believe in New Year's resolutions. I think if it's something that matters, you just do it, and you're already doing it. But that being said, I'm curious to know what's on the radar, what's on the calendar for next year. Where is Aaron Tobin going to be by the end of 2020?
Oof. By the end of 2020, I would have a lot of things are going to happen in 2020. I have the LSAT. I have the first semester of my last year of college golf. I have applications. I just think that I will be it's going to be another huge growth. I'm glad November was tough. November was tough, but I'm glad I learned a lot, and like you said, I have a lot of momentum going into the end of the year. I think I put on like 10 or 15 pounds in November, but I've basically already lost it all this first week, just of how dedicated and how like focused I am. I'm just gonna keep riding the wave and keep learning. I think this is just a lot of it is very new to me. It's stuff that I have never worked on this closely. So I think that all of this is awesome, and the results will be very satisfying.
That's amazing, Aaron. I know myself and everybody out there, we're cheering you on. You're bound to be doing some really big things. This is such a pivotal point in your life, and it's just huge. And I'm humbled and grateful to have been a part of that. And obviously, you're 21, you're young. There's still a lot of things to go, and it's just, I'm so happy to hear that you have these now that are going to help you out in ways that most people your age have no idea. And they're going to struggle in ways that you're going to be able to help them and lead them, especially your teammates, which is really powerful. And we're looking forward to seeing your journey. Is there anything that you want to say to those that are watching as we wrap up here? Any last words of wisdom?
I would say really break it down to what are your weaknesses and and try to make them your strengths. You do that through, especially in the beginning, get as detailed as you can, use imagery, close your mind. I know when coach, you talk about counting to 4 in your head, and for golf, it's when you close your eyes, it's not even like picturing the 1 and the 2. It's like, hey, maybe when you count 1, and imagine like some metal plating around it, maybe some deadbolts in the corner. Just really get as detailed as you can and use your creative talents to dive into the process and learn as much as you can about yourself. Push yourself so that you learn even more. I have read listened to a couple audiobooks throughout this process. The 7 Habits, that book, and the Jesse Eltzler Navy SEAL one, and just dive into your interests and learn a lot about yourself. That is the biggest self-fulfillment that I have found.
That's awesome, Aaron. You've gotten me fired up, and I think when we wrap up here, I'm going to go hit my journal and start looking at my weaknesses so I know what to start tackling. I think that's so important. I can't thank you enough for being here and sharing your wisdom with everybody, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you continue to grow.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks so much, Aaron. I'll be talking to you soon. Stay on the phone now.
Sounds good.
Bye.